Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Gotta shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody, power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers. Let's go.
I'm Loverboy Timothy Flowers.
And I'm Dashing Chris Ringrose, and we are the sexiest tag team in professional wrestling, the Brothers of Seduction.
And you're listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, the Spotlight Edition. I am your host, Mark the Mark Martinez, and oh boy, do we have a tag team partner of, I guess you're going to say it this way, Can Crusher alum, Jordan Carlisle. Coming on the show today is Lifeguard Ross. Lifeguard Ross is coming on and going to tell us how to swim and how to save ourselves in the ocean and all of that great stuff. I hope, at least, he could help me out. But when Bobby Blaze reaches out to you and says, hey, here's a kid, you should probably talk to him. He's part of FTC, Art of Grappling. That kind of says something. So, welcome to Can Crushers, Lifeguard Ross, here in a moment. So this is pretty exciting. Really exciting. Because when the promoter sends somebody to you, I kind of get giggly and I turn into Mark that I really am. But of course, you know, we have to do our due diligence. So let's wrap this up real quick. Because Lifeguard Ross is hanging out on the line as I'm doing all of this. Where can you find us? Well, I'm here to tell you. You can find us Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, IMDb, and the list goes on and on and on. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts, that's where we're at. Go out and search us. It's Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. You'll see our amazing logo, along with Podurama. By the way, you guys know if you sign up for Podurama right now, you get 50% off a lifetime membership. And this app is seamless. It goes from laptops to phones to computers to Alexas and everything is just seamless. It continues to grow, so go ahead and sign up with them. How can you get in contact with Can Crushers if you'd like to be on the show? Or we're everywhere in social media. The X, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, all of it is at CanCrusher69. Or if you like using the old-fashioned way that I was told, email cancrusher69@gmail.com. Go ahead, drop us a letter. We'll get you scheduled. It's filling up for the rest of the year, but hey, we got next year as well because we're going to continue cruising along because Can Crushers is the show. Indie stars come and tell their story. The who, what, why, how, and all of those questions that we want to know. You can tell I'm excited. I really am. I'm jonesing today. But go ahead. Come on, get the list going and everything, and we'll schedule you, and that'll be awesome. Okay? Follow us on all the socials. Get involved with some content and stuff like that. What else? Oh, yeah, Collar and Elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that Al Stone and Hooligans have down at Collar and Elbow. We have a promo code for you. If you go and buy anything, if you buy everything that they have, you can save 10% off your entire order with the promo code Can Crushers. Capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers, 10% off your entire order. And I know as we continue to truck towards the snow up here in the north and Christmas is coming and all that, we do have a WWE affiliate code, which, listen, we don't lie here on Can Crushers. Sometimes it'll give you a discount, sometimes it won't, but 100% of the time, it'll help us out, okay? The link is in the show notes. Click on that. If you're going to buy something you already know, and you might get a discount, you might not, but you're still going to buy the new Cody Rhodes shirt, the new Mommy shirt, the new whatever shirt. Maybe you want the new Carlito shirt. I don't know. Go ahead and click on that link and it'll help out the show. And you really didn't do anything because all you're doing is buying the stuff that you want. The rest is all taken away from WWE and sent to us. Yes. So thank you. Thank you. We're transparent. I'm not going to lie to you and say, well, this, that, and the other, but no, use that. All right, here comes Al Snow to tell you more about Collar and Elbow. And when we come back, we'll have Lifeguard Ross on the show to talk about his career and so much more in professional wrestling.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey, this is Jordan Carlisle. I love can crushers. I'm a can crusher myself. I crush beer cans all the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. You heard how excited I was, first and foremost, because Bobby Blaze says, hey, you need to talk to this kid. So that has me Joneses, and then I kind of do a little bit of research, and I find out that Jordan Carlisle is his tag team partner, which Jordan is a Can Crusher alum, but that's not, we've talked enough about Jordan already, so we'll throw him under the bus and get him out of here, because it's spotlight time for Lifeguard Ross. Ross, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Go
ahead.
It's an honor to be here, but yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, when Bobby Blaze says do something, you kind of do it. You know that, right?
Yeah, I always listen to Bobby. Bobby's always got good advice.
Yeah, he is a legend. We've put him over in a number of times on Can Crushers. So before we get on to everything about Lifeguard Ross, it's your turn to put Bobby over. And trust me, he's listening. So You better put him over well.
No, yeah, Bobby he's a great person. The best way to put it. He's got the best interest for all of us at the AOG. He's gonna tell us how it is, and that's in my opinion, that's the best way. I'd rather just be told straight up how to fix it.
Yeah.
Than just sugarcoating it. And that I love Bobby's honesty and like all that, and he's always gonna have the best interest for us.
I've spoken to a handful of everybody from FTC, AOG, all of those acronyms, and you guys are probably the strongest family that I've spoken to in a long time. I talked to a lot of indie wrestlers all over the nation, world, whatever, but you guys are so strong, and I think it's because of the father figure of Bobby just pushing it into your heads that not only in the ring, but out of the ring, if you don't take care of each other, there's no you or we then.
Yeah, it's that's the coolest part about where I'm newer to wrestling, the business and everything. It's just like a big family, FTC and AOG and everything. Everybody's open-armed, and like it's really cool to be like treated like that as a newer person. And then like I don't know how it's like. That's just my opinion on that. It's like a big family, and it's like it's you and your opponent. You're not trying to, Bobby said it, you're trying to put on a show for the fans.
Right.
Not for you to get over or the other person. You're working together. It's not just a single person.
Right. That's well put. Young in the business. So we'll leave it at that. We'll just continue to say young in the business the whole time. Under a year. So under a year. There's more people we'll talk about in the locker room here in a little bit, but let's now swing this to you, as this is your story and everything. So as we rewind, not so far back, but back far enough, who introduced you to professional wrestling? Mom, Dad, Aunt Sally, Uncle Joe? Who was it?
So me and my dad was a wrestler. He was into it when he was a kid, and I don't know. I was watching it one day with him, and I fell in love.
What's your first memory?
My first memory, I remember Eddie Guerrero, 5-star frog, or it's not 5-star frog splash, but his frog splash on Brock Lesnar.
Oh wow, damn! That's your first memory. That's a hell of a first memory.
That's really because I remember Eddie Guerrero. That was just like when I was little, I was so intrigued.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
He had passed away before I was born, but like just watching, like my dad was a big fan of him, so like watching that.
So besides Eddie then, and there's 2 questions coming, but I want to know your favorites, essentially, when you were growing up. You loved Eddie, and you can see some of the clips that I did hound and get and everything. I see a lot of Eddie in you. I do, but who are some of your other favorites?
My top favorite by far is AJ Styles.
Okay.
I've been an AJ Styles fanboy forever.
Did you went back and watched AJ TNA, right?
That's what made me fall in love.
Thank you.
AJ TNA. So they get no. So I grew up. I was more back in the early 2000s. I loved the 2010s. I loved TNA. That prime TNA wrestling was my wrestling to watch, with like Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, Amazing Red.
The 6-sided ring.
Yeah. Samoa Joe. That was what I loved, that wrestling. That was my childhood.
It was different. For me, a little bit older, but still understanding where you're coming from, it was a different product. You know, it was essentially, and no knock on AEW today at all, because I love it. But it was what AEW is today back then. They just didn't have the funds or anything to keep it afloat more than 6 months at a time.
Yeah. But like the Impact Zone, like that was, I have old DVDs and I love watching those from back in like the 2000, like back when TNA was in like, it was still just TNA or NWA TNA.
Right. When Jeff Jarrett legit owned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was great stuff. It really was. It just was not seen a lot and couldn't get it. Now, they're putting on great stuff now, but again, it's on whatever channel anymore. I really don't. It's only clips that I catch on Impact, and it's sad because they have great people over there. But
they do. Yeah,
I digress. We could talk, and we'll get there about talking more wrestling.
Yeah.
We all know that. We say once you saw your Eddie Brock match, you knew you wanted to be a professional wrestler. When I saw Tony Schiavone talking to Midnight Express and Rock and Roll Express, I know I wanted to be a commentator, announcer, do my own podcast and all this stuff. But when did you really know? Like, come on. You didn't know at the age of 6 that you were going to be Eddie Guerrero. When did you really take that step and say, I can fucking do this?
So back when I was like, when I was 13, 14-ish is whenever I like started really being like, I want to be able to like, I feel like I could do this. I feel like when I got older, I could be a wrestler. But at that time I was like, I didn't think there was anywhere around here to get trained in my area. So I was just like, dang. And then it just so happened whenever I was 17, I just so happened to find out that there was a school in my area. And it was really when I was 13, I was like, I love this thing. I love watching it. I was invested. I was reading everything I could. I was just, because wrestling was just like, I was a fan at first, but then it just like, I fell in love like with the whole thing, like learning about it.
Right.
And
yes.
that just made me be like, yeah. And then I got the opportunity. I found out about the school and I was like, I want to try it. And then it's just went from there.
When did you go to your first event? Have it be an indie show or a W? Because listen, I'm sure, and I'm not throwing you under the bus, I'm sure you didn't go to a TNA taping or anything like that. When did you go to like your first WWE event or anything like that to really get capsulized by the audience?
I know this might sound
You're going to say you didn't. You're going to say you didn't, are you?
Listen, my first ever event was a live event in Huntington for TNA.
No. All right. At least you threw me under the bus. All right. I'm all right with that. I thought you were really going to say, I've never been to a live wrestling show.
No. Oh, no. I love those. Those are fun.
Do you remember any of the card that night at Huntington?
It was Eric Young and Gunner against Gunner, who is Jackson Riker now, was the opening match. And then the main event was Samoa Joe versus Magnus in a steel cage match.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All four of those do not get enough love. I know whatever Samoa Joe is doing on AEW ROH right now, he's kind of getting love and everything, but
yeah.
Nick Aldis is one of my all-time favorites. Glad to see him back on SmackDown.
I love him. I love watching him from his NWA days.
Yes.
Too. Those were I love that.
So we hinted around, how do you find Art of Grappling, FTC? How do you, you just didn't knock on a gas station and say, hey, I heard Bobby Blaze is a trainer. What do I do?
So the way I found out about it was I was at prom for my school, and one of my buddies was like, I found this on Facebook. It's a wrestling school. And I was like, no way. And then we texted. And then I met up with Brock's Boulder, Anthony, at one of the wrestling cons, and we talked. And then I came to my first class. So just look on social media is the best way to find it.
It is. And you brought up Brock's Boulder, who has also been on the show. We have a love and hate relationship. He's a great guy, but of course he always wants to put his podcast over when he's on the show compared to talking wrestling. So yeah. we kind of skim over Brock's once in a while. And he'll give me shit for this. Troy's the man of that tag team.
Yeah, I love Grappling Inc. I love Brock's and Troy. They're great.
They are. All right, so you get set up, and listen, again, under a year in professional wrestling, your first day of class, do you leave, you're walking in like you have, the biggest cojones in the world because you know that you can do this. When you walk out, tell me that feeling after you walk out, after you've been beaten for 2 to 3 hours.
The feeling walking in was I'm scared, I really hope I don't mess up. But the feeling after was is more of a relief of you're like, for me it was more of a, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm in the right place. Was my mindset after. I was like, this is the right place for me.
And you don't have to lie, because there's been people much older than you in the professional wrestling business that have said yes.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time that you're like, oh, this might be a little bit too much?
I wouldn't say yet.
Okay. You're young.
Yeah.
You're a young whippersnapper yet, and I mean that out of love. So yes.
No, yeah, but I wouldn't say yet. I wouldn't say yet.
Okay. So tell me about some of your training, and you seem uber athletic. What did you do in high school sports growing up and everything?
Well, so this is my first year I haven't played football. So I played football, basketball, and ran track, and I played tennis.
So you have, get ready, this is where I'll get hate, by the way, Ross. You have the brutality of football, and I love football, don't get me wrong, but it's men just crushing into each other. I love it. But so you have the brutality of football, you have the endurance in track, you have the skill set in basketball and everything. So you have primed yourself for wrestling, even going through high school, knowing that the wrestling is you're gonna take all these aspects that you've been in school and turn it into wrestling, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So like, I always, in my mind, I was always just doing like those sports, just because like they didn't offer much, so like that was all they offered at our school. So I loved football and I loved it, and I just kept playing. And then I was like, I chose wrestling over football this year, and I was like, I just love wrestling. Just was like the true sport love for me. And football's just there too.
So again, back to training. You get that, and you're doing good in training. What is something that was a little bit harder for you to catch on? Maybe the psychology part of wrestling, running the ropes. I will always say this is one of the worst things in the world. People are like, "Oh, they're springy. They're a freaking wire wrapped in tape,
Yeah.
and they hurt." So, what was hard for you?
My back had to get used to. It took a little bit to get used to running the rope or hitting the ropes, but the ropes were different. You never feel something like that before in your life. Guarantee that on your back.
Well, I agree. How about taking like your first bump? Because that's not natural for a human being just to throw themselves down. Was that kind of a little awkward?
Yeah. But then I just kind of thought of it like as a football, like,
Yep.
you get thrown a lot. So it's just like the bump wasn't as bad. It was just weird making yourself do it.
Right. Yeah, but you're conditioned to know how to take a bump in football to wrestling then, kind of.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Yeah, in a way. You know where my mind is going. Come on, Ross.
I get what you're saying, yeah. No, I totally agree though.
So this is the point, and this is, get ready for the fourth wall to come down on Can Crushers. This is the point where I will say, hey, I'm going to give you 3 people, and you're going to tell me how close I am to who you are. I didn't have time to do that, ladies and gentlemen, because we had a cancellation, and then Bobby says, here's your next guy, and I'm like, yep, this is it. So I'm not going to make myself look like a complete jackass. Tell me 3 wrestlers, and it's wrestling, okay? Ross is not saying this, I'm saying it. Tell me 3 wrestlers that you have stolen something, borrowed, begged, whatever, to kind of make up the person who Lifeguard Ross is. Like I said, I did see a clip. Trust me, I did see one. And I did see that you kind of move like Eddie. I did see that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't pull anything else out, and I'm not going to lie to you.
I try to steal Dolph Ziggler's how he sells in a way.
That's kind of pretty good guy to steal from. He's one of the best. In my book, he's one of the best sellers. And Shawn Michaels is definitely the greatest. Yeah. But yeah, Dolph Ziggler's up there.
Of my childhood, Dolph Ziggler it was just like he made it look so vicious, and like it just looked like he was like it was just like he was fighting for his life every time. And I always thought that was the coolest. So I try to copy that for my selling.
Persona? Who is like your persona? And I know it's going to say, oh, it's me times 11. Don't give me that crap answer. I don't want to hear that.
My persona is, this is hard to like pinpoint like one. It's a little, because like I take a little bit from outside of wrestling too for my persona.
I love it. Good. Tell me more, because you shouldn't take everything from wrestling.
Yeah, because so I take a little bit of like, because it's a lifeguard. I steal a little bit of the look from the Baywatch cast. I try to steal a little bit of their look. That's my theme song. Is the Baywatch theme.
That's awesome, by the way. That answers one of my questions for down the line when we get to stupid questions. But we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
and then move sets, kinda, because selling and moves, folks, if you're just joining Can Crushers for the first time, completely different. Selling is when you're getting your rear end whipped, but like move set, we talked AJ, we talked Eddie. Is there one more that you kind of see yourself saying, hey, I'm going to borrow some of this?
The Miz.
Yeah.
Actually, I like using a lot of the Miz stuff in my matches. I have a couple of his stuff because it's just like simple stuff, but it still looks good and it looks effective. And I'm newer or under a year, so it's but I've always looked like the Miz is one of the best heels ever.
I thank you. The Miz is he does not get enough credit because he's never up there in the main events or anything, but what he does, not only just for WWE, but for wrestling, he puts the wrestling world on his back to sell anything that he's doing.
Yeah. I love the Miz is one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
But
me too. He's actually on my tattoo sleeve. When he was like, hello, my name is Awesome, that's the logo on my tattoo sleeve of the Miz.
That's awesome. No, yeah.
All right, let's take a hot second away and talk about day off stuff, because this is where we get the stupid questions. Like, what else do you like to do when you're not going to practice or Bobby's not blowing up your phone or, whatever? So people get to know Lifeguard Ross a little bit more. What are some nerd things that you like to do?
Well, usually when I'm not at school, I like working out, like in the weight, move some weights around, I guess is the best way to say that. It's a soothing type of way. I feel like go in the weight room and then like work out, run. I like to run.
You're a track star. Hell yeah, you probably, that's in your blood forever.
I just like running. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like something about it soothing. It's just like a soothing thing. Get your mind off the things. I play Xbox.
What are you playing right now? That's what I was waiting for you to get to, because I'm still a 46-year-old gamer. So yes. Yeah.
Right now I've been playing NBA 2K24. The new season's about to come out. I've been playing that.
I haven't bought. My last one was 22 that I bought. I kind of break it up with sports games because they're rinse or repeat anymore. They really are.
Yeah. The only reason my buddies got me to get this one because it's cross-play, so I can play against play with my PlayStation friends. So they got me to get it. So it's only because I wasn't gonna get it because they're usually the same game. But
the next big sports game looking for me doesn't come out until next August, maybe end of July when NCAA football comes out. I'm taking a week. I'm taking a week off of work and shutting myself into the studio. Wife and kids, I don't care what you're doing. This is where I'll be.
Did you play NCAA 14?
I did. I still have it. Yeah.
I still have that too. I love that. But yeah, that's a game I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
It's still so far away that I'm worried. People that listen to both the weekend show and Spotlights know that we talk about. We're still worried because it's so far away with NIL deals and anything that can go on. I'm like, please, we've waited almost 10 years. Just drop the freaking game already.
Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking on that side.
All right. Do you have any other hidden talents that we don't know about? I mean, we've talked about everything you've done in sports. Can you sing, play a guitar, or anything random?
I can I'm actually ambidextrous.
Are you really?
Yeah, so I can do stuff. So I do stuff I can do stuff left-handed and right-handed, but not all things, but most things. I can do left-handed and right-handed.
Did you have a broken arm when you were a child?
I've broken my wrist 4 times.
So I'm not saying that's why, but that's probably a strong reason why then. Okay. I'm sorry that you had broken body parts, but
that's life.
So you brought it up, and I was hoping you wouldn't because it was kind of my big shtick for this. Since you're a lifeguard, my question was, how many episodes of Baywatch, since they were well gone before you were born, have you watched? Is there somebody that you really like on there? Let's talk a little Baywatch.
Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, imagine that.
But no, I've never seen the show. I've seen the movies.
You've never seen the show whatsoever?
No. I've never seen it. No.
Such a liar. You're lying. Yeah.
I know. I've really never watched a full episode. I've seen like clips on like.
Oh, nobody ever watches full episodes. They only watch when Pamela or Carmen are running down the beach. Come on.
That's all I've seen is like the clips on the internet, like TikTok and Instagram. But that's all I've ever seen. But I've seen the newer movie with The Rock in it and Zac Efron. I've seen that one.
Is that, listen, I will blatantly tell you I have not watched because I was not as much of a Baywatch fan as clearly you are. But was it good?
It's not bad. It's pretty. It's a funny movie. It's a fun movie. I'll say that.
Okay, it might go in the back burner. That was a horrible sell for me to watch it, but we'll get to it.
It's all right, but the main inspiration behind me being a lifeguard, or Lifeguard Ross, is that's my summer job.
Imagine that.
That's what I do for my summer job.
It makes sense now. It really does. It does.
Yeah.
So how did you? Wait, before we get to the next question, I have actually involved in wrestling in your character. If you could swim anywhere in the world, where would you want to swim? To continue with these stupid questions.
That's a good question. I feel like it would be like, I know like it's gonna be cold, but like the Arctic or like somewhere with like ice in it. I feel like that would just be like a cool like swim around with like just like frozen ice. I feel like that would be insane.
I think there was two answers to this. One is what you said, and it would probably be mine as well. Even though I'm not a water fan. Like I would bathe and shower and stuff, but
yeah,
I'm not a water fan whatsoever. But if I could get the chance, maybe in and out up by the Arctic or something, just to say I did it. Or the other one is the Great Salt Lake, where you really don't swim, you just float. Like those. I mean, the other thing, all the other oceans. Get ready for more hate on Mark. Are the same ocean, right? They are all the same water at some point.
Yeah. And then the Dead Sea is one too. That would be cool.
See, I forgot about that one. I did.
It's popped in my brain.
So, you're the lifeguards with, again, Jordan Carlisle. How does that come about? Jordan likes crushing cans of beers as well. So, how do you and Jordan become BFFs?
Well, so it's just kind of like I'm newer to FTC, and that was just somebody I like had got closer to the more I trained, and it just turned in, and then we got the chance to ran with it, and it's been going good. We're doing good. Hopefully, we got some more in the future to come.
So short answer is a bromance. Let's not lie, right?
Yeah, it's a bromance. It's more of a father-son connection because everybody says he's my father.
Okay, all right.
Because of the age thing.
Yeah, because he's an old man. He's almost as old as Brock Smolder. Please. Please. I told you I take digs every time I can. I don't know why Brox and Bobby like me, by the way. Bobby I respect and love. Brox I do too.
Yeah, I love this. I love them. They're great.
All right, so you're young into the professional wrestling era and all career and all of this. But you've seen, even watching through your lifetime and everything, if there's something that you could change in professional wrestling, and you could take any stigma, anything that you can put into your brain right now, what would you like seeing eliminated from professional wrestling? Because sometimes wrestling still has, and I hate it, a bad connotation.
No, yeah, it really sometimes it's still. I just wish like the people would like understand that like the wrestlers are still putting their bodies on the line, and then like they're putting their bodies and like everything for you. I just wish they wouldn't say like it's still like it's fake or like it's scripted, because like they're still out there everywhere. Like, wrestlers are out there every day working their butts off, and they can still get hurt. And then I don't know, I just feel like that's the only stigma I really
No.
know.
Preach, because you're completely right. And I'm gonna get so much hate because I keep throwing everything under the bus. There's injuries in every sport, right?
Yeah.
In any sport, it's less than a second away, and your career in that sport can be over.
Yeah.
I think, in general, not the wrestling fans, because wrestling fans understand us weirdos that are slowly or tightly niched into it somehow as this big ass family that we're all involved in our heads. We understand. It's the general public that they're like, oh, that stuff is fake, and that hurts saying that. There's not a damn thing fake about it, so thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And that's the only stigma I've really got or had to like, I guess, face.
Yeah. Well, you're young. I hate to bear bad news. Be prepared. There's more to come. Just keep your chin up. I'm sure Bobby has warned you.
Yeah. That's what I'm. Yeah.
But never. It's not you. Okay. I don't want to be a dad because, listen, we met less than 24 hours ago via social media. And there's going to be a time that I'm going to run up and attack you in the ring or something if Bobby and Brox allows me to, because I am a heel most of the time. But yeah, there's going to be a time that something goes wrong and everything. Realize if you keep the same mentality that you have now, that you're just going to keep pushing, keep grinding, you're going to get to where you need to be. You have a plethora of people in your corner for you. It's not you. It's the other person or persons against you. I really do sound like a heel on this podcast today, and that's bothering me. I'm a bastard today, and I was in such a good mood to talk to you. You're just spinning it on me.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not you. It's me. Really, it is. So how much wrestling do you get to watch now? Like, now era? Because I also have a follow-up question.
I usually try to keep up with Monday Night Raw and like the Raws. Like I keep up with it, but I keep up more with WWE, and then I do AEW, I would say, and other companies. But I do try to keep up with the stuff now.
Most of your stuff, are you watching it live, or is it social media clips or something like that? Because you have, trust me, you have a busy life. I understand that. And you don't have 40 hours a week to watch wrestling like us garbage men do.
It's just a little bit of a mixture, because if I'm home, I used to just turn it, and it's on. I turn it on. But like before I go to sleep or anything, I usually watch clips. Like, clips pop up on my phone of like the whole match recaps, and I just watch those.
What's your favorite kind of storyline going on right now?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the Dirty Dom story.
Who doesn't?
I think Dirty Dom is great. I love the crowd whenever they don't let him talk. I think that's awesome.
2-3 years ago, Ross, I was saying, man, he should go to NXT. I don't think he's ready. This, that, and the other. Man, he is the most hated person on WWE television right now. And I love it. And he's doing what he needs to.
Yeah. But, no, I just wish Cody would finish the story.
Oh, yeah. I do too. I mean, yeah, this is my childhood dragging on. I wanted Dusty to finish the story. Now Cody needs to finish it, and I'm like, please, can we finish this story? Or is it going to be Cody's kids that are going to finish the story in 20 years? It's getting a little bit to be like War and Peace now for me.
Yeah. I just would, or they let LA Knight take the championship. I'm fine with that too. LA Knight. I love LA Knight.
I loved Eli Drake better.
Yeah.
TNA. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much and how long back do you go and watch wrestling? Because listen, I know Bobby sometimes says, hey, let's do some tape study, go back and watch maybe a Tully Blanchard from the 80s or this person, that person. Have you trickled back yourself and watched some old stuff?
Yeah. So I really like we're watching Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
That's probably a great person to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I really because I try to use his. I like his. I love his arm drag. It's like it's probably the best arm drag ever.
Tell me you watched WrestleMania 3 then with him and Savage, right? That was okay.
Yeah, Macho Man, one of my favorite all times. I love Macho Man. He's probably my favorite legend.
Yes.
Or like that's probably I would say. But I love that was like those are two of my favorites. Like in that time period, those are two of my favorites.
Do you transition up into like Attitude Era and watch some of that? Because I hate to say this, Attitude Era was more about the sticks and the clips and everything. We've said it a million times. The wrestling in the Attitude Era, there's matches that are great, but for the most part, it was about blood, guts, TNA, everything else that you could get on TV at that point. But do you go back and watch anything like that?
Oh yeah, I love watching any type of wrestling. Really, like, I like watching. I watch New Japan. It really just depends. I watch indie matches. I like watching all. Cause you can find really anything on YouTube.
Oh yeah. Quick sell, not a sponsor, but guys, if you're looking for anything indie, IWTV is amazing. It's like $9. Find it on the internet, find it on Roku or anything like that. You get independent organizations from everywhere, and it's so much fun. So yeah, I stumble across a different one each week. So make sure you check out IWTV. Hopefully they do send me some money sometime. They never will.
I'll have to check that out. I didn't know about that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. One of my favorites right now, and you're gonna laugh, is Wrestling with Unicorns. It's an organization that there's some great people there. Character development is amazing, but you have some stars that are there. I don't want to ruin it, so just make sure you check it out.
I'll have to check it out, yeah.
What is the best advice that you've gotten so far in wrestling?
The best definitely is from Bobby, and it's don't get hurt and don't do shit you don't know how to do.
That's blunt and exactly how Bobby would say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't do shit you don't know how to do.
It is. Can you look back on yourself? I know, listen, we're going to spoil it. He's young, okay? When you were a little bit younger, can you look back on yourself now when you and Dad are watching that Eddie and Brock match? Can you look back and say, holy shit, I did this, and feel, accomplished so far in your career?
I don't know, because I feel like there's still more for me. There's definitely a whole lot more.
There is, yes,
a lot more. I still have. There's more goals, but I can look. I can look back at that kid and be like, you're getting to start that journey. You're like, because I feel like I'm still in the start of a journey that I control my destiny for.
I love how you said that. Yes, you do. You do control everything that you're going to do. but you have the list that Jericho sent to you. You can check off number 1, become a professional wrestler, because you're a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
So that's a hell of an accomplishment. There's a lot of people sitting on couches that are like, man, I'd love to do that, but they don't want to get off their couch. It's the drive, the fortitude, and all that you had to push yourself to get there.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's just like I can't say that I like always have thought I wanted to, but when I don't know, because like it's like wrestling's got a different type of love. I have a different type of love for wrestling compared to anything.
It's a sickness. It's not a love. I'll tell you that right now.
Then that's the best way. I always tell my buddies and everything. They always ask me why I do it, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just like I fell in love, and like I can't. It's just like a drug. I guess it's a drug. Like a drug, you're addicted to it.
Yeah, it really, once it's in your blood, it just, man, it just does something. And again, you're in the ring, and I'm behind a computer or behind a desk commentating or a ring announcing or something, but it takes all of us to put on the show for the fans. We love performing for the fans, and we love marking out for ourselves, essentially.
That's the best part is whenever you go, like, you might not win your match, but if you have that crowd on their feet, that means you're doing the good job. You're doing your job.
Yeah. I forgot to ask you this. Go ahead and finish. I'll remember it.
I was just saying, it was like all the fans is really what matters. Like, for a good show to put on, like, that's what you're working for, is just to make the fans like happy and good, like glad they come, make them want to come back. Yeah.
Forget reality. Listen, the world itself sometimes is doom and gloom. So if we have them, you have them. I'm trying to steal your spotlight. You have them, and FTC and the Art of Grappling has them for 3 hours. You're like, forget about the world. We're here to entertain you and do the best that we can.
Yeah, Bobby always says like they're spending their hard-earned money, take time out of their day to come watch us, to forget all about all the stuff going on in their life, just to be it, like, so like that's the way I always look at it.
Yeah. All right, back to the question that I was going to ask. Will you tell, Dad, hey, I'm doing this? What's the family say when they say, hey, I'm getting it? You say, hey, I'm getting into professional wrestling. What do they say? You're crazy.
Well, the funny thing is, my mom had to sign my waiver for my first class because I was still under 18.
And she signed it, clearly, but did you get the mom talk?
No, my mom signed it. You can ask Anthony. Always gives me crap for this. My mom signed it and instantly left. And all my family, they all say, "Oh, your mom doesn't care about you." She just was like, "You can get beat up." So they always give me crap for that. But no, my parents have been very supportive. And my dad always says, he was like, "I want you to get to college," but he said, "I'll support you no matter what for this," because my dad was just as happy as I was that I got the opportunity to actually do it.
Nice.
My mom, I'm not gonna lie, my mom was I'm sure my mom's scared that I'll get hurt or something, but
right, you're her baby boy. Yeah, I would go to my mom. I didn't, because my journey started much later than yours. But my mom would say the same thing. What are you doing? I'm like, Mom, I'm just the announcer. I'm just the commentator. But you could still. I remember watching Jim Ross get punched in the face. All right, Mom. We're the baby boys. I understand that. Shout out to Mom and Dad. How you doing? Thanks for having your son on Can Crushers. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So you have a youngin coming up to you, and it may have happened already, that you're now that person's Eddie Guerrero or AJ Styles or whatever. What do you tell that kid that says, man, I want to be just like Lifeguard Ross? What do you tell that kid? What advice are you going to give him?
Keep working. Keep working on they're out and all that. Get good grades. That's the best way. If you're still in school, get good grades. And listen to your parents.
Listen to your parents. Listen to you getting brownie points all of a sudden.
Yeah, and no running when the lifeguard's on duty.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I love it.
I tell that to every person that talks to me.
People that have listened to the show know I run our community pool in our town. I'm the chemical guy, so we should be talking more pool stuff. Pool season's over for me. I've punched out. It's starting to snow next week in Pennsylvania, so I'm like, no pool season.
Yeah, I wish it was snow here down in Kentucky. It'd be nice.
It's coming. Well, I've been to Louisville a few times, and you guys don't get much snow down there.
Not really. Not at all.
I'm jealous of that. I love Kentucky, by the way. Now we're just going to sit back and chit-chat. I do love Kentucky. Louisville, Lexington a couple times. I'm a city-er folk. I do love Kentucky. I love everything about it. It's one of once my son graduates next year, possibilities of me moving to.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah. You don't like Kentucky? Come to Pennsylvania. You'll get sick of the snow in a heartbeat.
No, I like Kentucky. I like Kentucky. I like it's a cool place. It's different because like I have family members that live in like big cities and big towns, but it's just different. Like I don't know. It's very it's peaceful.
It so much is peaceful. It really is. It's a little more southern for me too, so you get that hospitality and stuff like that. I don't want it extremely hot, so I'm never going to pick like Florida or California or any place. Like definitely, get ready. Definitely not Texas. I don't need any of that. Kentucky is like my median. I like Tennessee as well. Those are the two that I'm shooting for in a year or two. So we'll see.
Yeah, great places. I like Tennessee too. I like going to Nashville and Pigeon Forge a lot.
Nashville is the new Las Vegas, by the way. I'll throw that out there. If anybody's not been to Nashville recently, go and party it up.
I believe that because
you're young. You shouldn't know any of that. Mom and Dad, what are you doing with him? Yep. The brownie points that you just gave them, they just got stolen away from you here on the podcast. All right. Young into the professional wrestling career, but what's your goals for kind of like 2023, 2024? So we're going to like round that into like the next year of your whole career. What do you want to tackle by the end of next year?
I hope by the end of next year, me and Jordan Carlisle are hopefully tag team champions by some time. By the end of 2024, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, by the end of 24, hopefully me and Gordon Carlisle can bring in some type of gold.
Okay. Do you want to, and Bobby can text me, Brock can too, if I'm pushing this a little bit too far, do you want to get a footprint outside of Art of Grappling FTC? Will you take bookings maybe in New Jersey or whatever? Or are you content, just building an empire of lifeguards there and then meander?
I'm not. I would definitely be open to it. I see how far, like how that comes.
All right, Rome wasn't built in a day. You're understanding the baby steps that needs to be done. I'm pushing you faster, which isn't always correct. But again, I'm devil's advocate.
Yeah, it's just I feel like I feel like I have to like earn that, like that I can go do that.
You're right.
So I feel like that's just whenever they tell me I can is whenever Right.
And that's, again, you have a great wrestling head. You sound like you have a great overall head on your shoulder, like you're a wonderful human being, but you understand the wrestling business and you know not to run before you can walk.
Yeah. Like, it's more, yeah, it's just like, you gotta, it's all on your own. Like, not everybody is the same training wise.
Right.
It comes, yes, like, I feel like I just need, like, I feel like I need, there's much more, like, I'm always gonna be learning, but I feel like there's, like, a lot more I can learn before I can go out and outside of FTC yet.
Right.
So far.
No, but you understand that. And that's a good part. So I'm going to hold you down and put you in an arm block right now. And we kind of started the podcast with this, and I do have a couple questions after this, but what does FTC in the art of grappling mean to you?
It's like, it's a family. It's like, it's just a big family. And like FTC, AOG, it's the greatest thing ever, because like it's like giving me my opportunity, and I never thought, I don't know, I always like thought I never thought I would fully get this opportunity like this at this time, like still in high school and all that. I never thought I would be able to do this, and like it's just like, this is mind blowing.
The opportunity is there though, isn't it? You see the opportunity and you're going to run with it now.
Yeah. It's just like it's giving me. It's the best thing ever. AOG, great.
Nice.
It's just like it's just like a big family, and that's the best place to learn.
I didn't ask you this. I told you I'm like a gnat when I do these, because I have a process, but I never do the process the same way. Who's on your Mount Rushmore?
Oh, okay. This is a good one. So, for my Mount Rushmore, I feel like Ric Flair has to be up there. Just for like, he was different. He was that guy of like wrestling, of the golden age of wrestling. I guess he was the bad guy of the golden age of wrestling, or the later 90s or whatever.
Yeah, he transcended eras. He really did.
He's still like everybody. You'll never forget Ric Flair.
Yeah, his last match that he had last year.
His longevity.
Yeah,
that's the word.
Will still be talked about more than some other people's ever match. So yeah, I get it.
Him and Stone Cold, like Stone Cold is like, he was like the face of wrestling.
Yep.
He's like one of the biggest faces of wrestling.
Still is. And there's people that don't know wrestling that knows he's a wrestler.
And then like his way on the mic, the way he cut a promo was just like, everybody listened. Like you heard him say, you heard his music, the glass shatter. Everybody's eyes were on the TV.
Yep.
And then so I got
Two
Ric
more.
Flair, Stone Cold. I put Rey Mysterio and like Eddie Guerrero. Like, it's kind of hard for me to, like, I always put like one luchador kind of.
Okay.
On, is like, that's a bit. I love lucha libre type wrestling also. So like the high flying, I feel like that, because that hasn't always been a part of wrestling, and
No.
I feel like that trendsetted, like the Guerrero family.
Agreed.
And the Malenkos.
Oh yeah, that's just technical to the core right there. Yeah.
So, yeah. It's just like, it's so hard to like put like select 4.
Oh, I know. You can name 1, 2, and 3 with ease. I always feel that. But then when you have to trim it down to that fourth one, you're like, man, I always get stuck, because mine's always Flair, because the same reasons as you. Savage, because he just was. Dusty for me was the talker. But then I'm like, man, I think Owen could have been so much more. So I want to put Owen up there. But then, listen, I'm not that bad guy. I think Cena should be up there. I think Taker should be up there. Like, the number 4 spot on anybody's Mount Rushmore is like, there should be 10 on Mount Rushmore.
The Mount Rushmore is there's so many like good people that you could put. It's just, it's a big task.
It is. It really is. But your list is, listen, I'm going to fight for your list because I completely agree with you. right? You could talk me in anything on anybody's Mount Rushmore because everybody understands wrestling.
Yeah.
Which brings me to this. You're far away. Far, far, far away. And this dream match may happen. But here's the caveat. I want to know who your dream match is against, where is it going to happen, and the stipulation in the match.
Okay. It's a AJ Styles dream match versus AJ Styles in a X Division match.
Yes. Once you said AJ earlier, I answered this in my head already. So, but
Yeah,
where?
it's an X Division style match. AJ Styles. It would be a triple threat between AJ Styles and the Amazing Red. Do you know Amazing Red?
Yeah, I know Amazing Red. I don't know him personally, but yes,
That would be in a X Division style match.
Where would you like this super show being hosted?
I would say. I feel like the WWE pay-per-view I've always wanted to. I feel like would be the coolest to be on. Would be the Elimination Chamber. I just feel like in that atmosphere, would just in like a good Elimination Chamber, but in the stadium, I would have to say Madison Square Garden.
That's a generic answer, but yes, everybody wants to be there.
It'd be it'd be different.
Yeah, trust me. If I could announce Outback Jack, and this is if you know who he is, good. Outback Jack against Gilbert. If that was the only match I could announce in my life at Madison Square Garden, I would be thrilled. Just to say that I announced there. I'd be like, yep, check that off my list. And nobody would want to see that match, by the way, besides maybe members of their family.
I don't even know if their family would.
Thanks.
I'm just playing.
No. All right. Yeah. This is your time. Give everybody your socials. Do you have any merch? And oh yeah, by the way, this coming Saturday there's a show. So let's talk about that a little bit. But let's do your socials, and do you have any merch coming or anything like that?
Me and Jordan are working on some, but I do have a Lifeguard Instagram. It is the Lifeguard. It's just Lifeguard Ross.
There it is. That's the only thing you have right now?
Yeah. As of right now, that's all I have right now.
We'll have to work on that.
Yeah.
That's my biggest MO. You guys have to get more. You have to get on TikTok and dance like an idiot as a lifeguard. You have to yell at kids. You have to stage kids at a pool and yell at them.
I do have a Facebook. My Facebook is just Ross Burton. You can follow me. We're all, and that's where. And then on Saturday, October 21st, 4th Avenue Methodist Church in Huntington, we have a show featuring Sue Young, FTC, and it should be fun.
Yeah, Sue Young, I believe, is taking on Reese Ramon, right?
Yep.
Do you guys have a match?
We should. The Lifeguard should be, I would say, booked. I think. I don't know yet.
But he's not going to spill it. Yeah, we're not going to give it all away. Get there, get your tickets, support Lifeguard Ross, Jordan Carlisle, and the rest of FTC and all of that, right?
Yeah. It'll be a great show. Come out, support. It'll be great.
Support indie wrestling across the board.
Yeah. And it'll be a great time for all the fam. Bring all your fam that come to the show.
The one fan? Fans. Yes, fans that come.
My fan.
Did I don't know why this popped in my head right now. Mom signing the waiver and worried about you. She's your biggest fan now. She wants to help make merchandise and stuff like that. Like I think that would be my mom though too. Like Mark to Mark, let's make shirts for that. I'm like, oh mom, come on.
Mom, yeah, my mom's kind of turned out to be my biggest fan so far.
Yeah. I love those stories. Those are dad moments on Can Crushers. They really are. I love when family, because I've had people come on the show and say, my family really hates that I'm in wrestling, so I really kind of don't talk to them anymore, this, that, or the other. Listen, wrestling is a family because all of us nerds, me and you talking, me and Brock's talking, the family of wrestling within it. But then when you have this passion and you can linger it out to mom and dad, and now they are supporting you the whole time, I really love that. It's a great family story.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just like I feel like once they saw my first like show and like how happy I was, they were like, yeah,
They
like,
knew.
yeah, they knew. Because like I talk about wrestling, like about it all the time, like just how much like it's like how fun and everything. I just like that's all I talk about, wrestling. I love talking about it.
Me too. Trust me, me too. As you can tell.
Yeah, and like it's just like I don't know, it's a different type of love. Like I said earlier, it's just different type of love.
Yeah, once it's in there. Hey, Ross, did I forget to bring anything up that you wanted to talk about? Or, I know you're busy. You're probably going to get ready to run to the gym or maybe swim a few laps or something like this. But is there anything else you want to chat about real quick?
No, I think that's you covered most of it. Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
Good. We're going to have you back on in due time to talk about you winning, championships, and we're going to follow your career, and then I'll attack you at some point, and then Mom and Dad will hate me even more, and then Brox will probably help you for some unapparent reason. I don't know, but yeah, this has been fun. Thank you for joining me.
No, thank you for having me. This is I would love to be back. It's been a blast.
Hey, everybody, this is Gilbert, WWF's longest reigning light heavyweight champion. And you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast, the best guys there are out there.
So you throw Gilbert under the bus in the last segment of the podcast, and look which one pops up that it is time to use. So it's just the way life works here on Can Crushers. I always put my foot in my mouth. Gilbert was an amazing Can Crusher alum. Go back and listen to that in the archives. But this episode was about Lifeguard Ross and his young journey so far into professional wrestling. And man, oh man, Bobby Blaze once again, that hanging curve, smashed it out of the ballpark, because this kid's got a great fucking head on his shoulders for professional wrestling. He understands, as I said in the podcast, Rome wasn't built in a day. I asked him about 2024 goals, from now until the end of this year. And he said tag team champions. That would be great. The lifeguards. I said, what about down the line, this, that, and the other thing? And would you travel and everything? He was kind of hesitant because he knows, as he said, hey, man, I got to work on my craft. I have to do this. I have to do that before I can put a footprint in someplace else, because that's not what I really want. And I'm paraphrasing, by the way, before anybody jumps on me. I know that I have to work on my craft before I can then jump out and do this and do this and do this. Great head on his shoulders. So he understands, listen, you can't run. You have to walk. And, of course, you can't run by a pool. So make sure you understand that. Great interview. I am thoroughly impressed with him, and I can't wait to get to FTC Arctic Grappling to see all these kids and what they're doing and kind of the stamp that Bobby has put on them, and Brox as well, and to see what else is going on. So, yeah, guys, make sure you follow Lifeguard Ross. Follow this journey. Under a year in professional wrestling, and it's just going to climb. Just going to climb. And I'm glad that he said he wanted an Ultimate X match. That would be him, AJ, and Amazing Red in Madison Square Garden. Whatever. It's a generic answer and all that. But, yeah, guys, follow him. Continue to listen here on Can Crushers. Thank you very much for all the support over the years. Bobby, Brox, thanks again for feeding me a gem of an interview. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. Make sure you tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know.